This is CBC Here and Now.
I'm not the only one staring at the sun. Everyone is talking about it. The hot, hot heat is here.
Yes, sun worshippers are rejoicing province-wide. This is the hottest day of the year.
Many temperature records fell and others came very close to falling across Newfoundland and Labrador.
And as the mercury rose, of course, people sought relief.
Swimmers took to the Corner Brook Stream in Margaret Bowater Park earlier today.
The best coast, as some call it over there, saw the temperature hit 29.
And here in the east, it was no different. St. John's maxed out around 27 degrees at the airport, so we hit Bannerman Park to see how people were coping. What's your favorite part about coming to the park?
So I like to play soccer, and we came here for the play group, and I like to play kicking the ball around and kind of stuff, and the splash pad.
Yeah, it looks like you've been enjoying the splash pad today.
Yeah.
Where are you guys from?
Florida. USA.
Florida? Florida! Originally from Brigus, living in Florida. Wow. So this is just like a spring day for you then?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really not that hot.
No.
So, did you guys even put sunscreen on, or do you not have to? Are you guys immune to the sun now?
We put sunscreen on.
Good. How have you guys been enjoying summer so far?
I've been playing in water a lot.
Including today?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What about you?
Same.
Same. And what's your favorite part about coming to the park?
Probably the pool.
The pool? Nice.
I would say the pool and beaver tails.
And beaver tails. That's a good answer. Can I have one of your fries? Just one? Thank you. This is the life, you guys. This is it.
It looks like it.
Absolutely. What a play. What an assignment today.
So it is a real pleasure to talk about all the sun and the heat, but there was other news today.
Yes, here's what else we have for you tonight.
Found this hanging in a tree.
A kind hiker and Facebook ensure a lost camera gets returned.
It's a big honor.
A Nain runner snags our first medal at the North American Indigenous Games.
A helping hive to get your garden growing.
Well, a man hiking the East Coast Trail recently found a camera jammed full of vacation photos. But who owned it? A post to Facebook and a few thousand shares, and he's found his answer. Here now's Avneet Dillon is live from the trail where this story began. So Avneet, take us through what happened.
Well, Debbie, it was a couple from Montreal who were hiking here from Logie Bay to Quidi Vidi. Now, somewhere along the way, they lost their camera, and they never thought they'd see those photos again. But lucky for them, a local hiker picked it up. Paul Stacey came across the camera during a 3-day hike from Cape St. Francis to Quidi Vidi, but he didn't see it on the ground. He was looking up.
In the Logie Bay region, I found this hanging in a tree. And from the way it was in there, I figured, now the tree hooked this, and it just hauled it out of their pocket. So I'm like, well, what do I do with that now?
Paul turned the camera on. It was still working, but the menu was in French. He took it home and looked through the photos in an effort to identify the owner. He then posted a photo to Facebook.
Couple shares here, couple shares there, and then all of a sudden it's ding, 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 ding. And there's like 2,200 shares over about 24 hours.
One of those photos was seen by Charlene Butt, who recognized the couple in the photos. She had met Patricia and Yvonne while camping in Port Rexton. It was on the drive home that she saw it.
And I noticed this picture saying that somebody had lost the camera, and the picture of Patricia and her husband was there. And I shouted in the truck, said, "Oh my God, that's Patricia!"
Charlene then tagged Patricia in the post and sent her a Facebook message. Today, Patricia got the chance to talk to Paul over Skype.
Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem at all.
Not only did we find our camera, or did you find our camera so we can get it back, but what a great story.
Yeah,
right?
true enough.
Patricia can't believe Paul's generosity, but he's humble about the gesture.
Well, I was on one mission to get to town. I figured there's a mission when I get back. So, nothing more than that.
The next mission is reuniting Patricia with her camera. Paul says it'll be in the mail by the end of the week. Avneet Dillon, CBC News, St. John's.
A plan to consolidate all St. John's courthouses in one location isn't likely to happen soon. The Justice Department recently signed a 10-year contract with the owners of Atlantic Place in downtown St. John's. That will potentially keep provincial court facilities in that office building until 2027. The department says that will allow operations to remain business as usual while they work on planning a new court complex for all justice services in the region.
The Canadian Police Association is criticizing a sentence handed down in Supreme Court in St. John's. It says the sentence given to Gordon Bishop wasn't tough enough and should not have contained a banishment order. Here Now's Glenn Payette reports.
Last week, Gordon Bishop was given just over 2 years time served and was banished from the province for a year while he's on probation. It was a joint submission on sentencing by the Crown and Defence. In response to the CBC, the president of the Canadian Police Association, Tom Stamatakis, asked what kind of message does it send to frontline police personnel when even the Crown prosecutors agree to such a lenient penalty for someone with a lengthy criminal history who causes serious injury to an officer on duty. In January of 2015, Bishop dragged one officer as she hung half in and half out of the car he was driving after breaking into Peter Reaston's pub in St. John's. The officer injured her right shoulder and head. Later that same day, Bishop injured another officer when he smashed into the unmarked car she was in as he was making another escape. Stamatakis, I'm worried this sort of sentencing tells career criminals in particular that the consequences for attacking our officers are negligible, and that's a dangerous precedent. Jennifer Mercer is the Director of Public Prosecutions for the province. She didn't want to speak to Bishop's sentencing specifically, but could comment on sentencing in general.
Each and every day, Crown attorneys review files that are on their desks. They assess them for strengths and weaknesses and make choices and decisions based on those strengths and weaknesses. Sometimes those choices and decisions are not the most comfortable ones, but they're made to ensure that justice is done.
Stamatakis also took exception to the banishment order. Making a long-term offender someone else's problem isn't an effective long-term solution. Of that criticism, Mercer had this to say.
There are always considerations by lawyers involved that result in differing types of sentences that are designed to achieve public safety and rehabilitation of all sorts of offenders.
The banishment order was suggested by the defense, accepted by the Crown, and ultimately by Justice Fowler. The Royal Newfoundland Constabulary Association didn't want to comment on the sentence at this time. Glenn Payette, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, how is your garden growing this year? Despite the cold spring and early summer, this garden in Logie Bay is doing just great. And Karen Uden-Walsh says it's all because of these.
Well, you're looking at a live shot of the rooms, a beautiful evening again, and after a stellar day in the province, in about 3 minutes, I'm going to tell you whether the sun is going to shine again tomorrow. All the details after the break.
Welcome back, everyone. I was lucky enough to have a long weekend and
Yes.
gorgeous weather out and
Perfect.
about in Central and kayaking, and it was
What a
just
time to be on
fantastic.
vacation,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
It's great.
How were the flies?
Stouts, deer flies, but you know the mosquitoes weren't too bad. But
Yeah.
I don't like those pesky stouts.
I did wonder because it has been dry and hot, so you never know this time of year, right? It can be touch and go. But anyway, welcome back.
Thanks.
Great day today, and whether you're on the land or on the water, have a look at this.
Oh my god.
It's gonna have waves on this.
Yeah. Hold on. Oh my god. That is nuts.
Oh my God.
Get ready, Al.
How about that?
Gorgeous.
Whales, icebergs, fantastic. Some of the sights and sounds over the last couple of days. Thanks to Trinity Eco Tours there.
Yeah, the best a Newfoundland summer can offer, I'd say.
Yeah.
The tourists I hear are having a wonderful time because the whales are showing in a lot of places. So.
And the weather. It's fantastic. Have a look at the highs today. By the way, here's a little tidbit for you. Happy Valley Goose Bay, the hottest spot in the country today. 31.5 at YYR at the airport there in Goose. And yeah, so rounding up to 32, but the hottest spot in the whole country. No spot has beaten that yet. Looks like even BC won't beat that temperature today. So very, very nice, and not far from that temperature across central parts of Newfoundland today as well, into that 30, 31 range. Some temperatures today at some local stations like Twillingate and also down towards Terra Nova. Most of those weather stations online since the 90s, so the warmest July 18th since those weather stations were online. We were watching the temperature at St. John's today, did not quite get to the 28-degree record there. Happy Valley Goose Bay, the actual record, 32, so not quite to that record breaker there as well, but I don't think anybody's complaining. Still 28 in Corner Brook. When we talk about the dew point, it is starting to creep up a little bit. We're into that comfortable to getting sticky stage across places like Stephenville, across the south coast to St. John's, as that dew point is in that 15, 16 range. It'll creep up a little bit tomorrow. The humidex will be a little bit higher in terms of what it will feel like, feeling into those mid-30s on the way forward tomorrow. And you can see where we do have some cloud cover just to our south, a cold front moving its way into western parts of Labrador. That'll be the main weather player over the next 24 hours as we watch that future tracker move in with this line of showers. Risk of a thunderstorm along this line as well. Labrador City not ruling it out early on, but I think the best risk is certainly into the afternoon. Along the south coast tomorrow morning, again, it's drizzle, some fog. That should retreat back to the coast, but a little more persistent tomorrow in terms of that drizzle, even through the morning hours. So keep that in mind. Temperatures, it's again a very mild start tomorrow, 15 to 16 degrees for most. Overnight lows will be in the high teens for Happy Valley Goose Bay. Disregard that 21 there. And we are looking at southwest winds for pretty much everybody to start the day tomorrow. Now, as we roll throughout the day. Again, I still think that drizzle is a little bit persistent along the south coast. This forecast model is overdoing it with those shower chances along the west coast. Certainly some cloud kicking up, but not looking at anything in the way of showers. We will see showers pushing in for you folks across Happy Valley Goose Bay and southeastern Labrador, with a risk of some thunderstorms as well. We'll start the day near 15 in St. John's. The difference from today to tomorrow will be certainly more cloud cover into the afternoon across the metro region and across southeastern parts of Newfoundland. That'll keep our temperature a little bit cooler. Humidex again still into those low 30s. And again, the cloud cover mostly capped along the south coast, but from Clarenville to the Avalon, expect the clouds to dominate more so than the sun into the afternoon. I think a solid mix of sun and cloud once again tomorrow for most of the central region, from Bonavista Bay back to Corner Brook, where we're talking about temperatures near 30 degrees, a little bit cooler, of course, closer to the water. And there's that front rolling into Labrador, and those thunderstorm risks from Cartwright back to Labrador City, cooler with those lingering showers along the north coast. We'll talk about your Thursday, Friday, and of course the all-important weekend forecast in just a few minutes. Debbie?
Thanks, Ryan. Well, gardens throughout the province are in full bloom, and some gardens got a little extra help with pollination this year because of back garden beehives. Unlike bee colonies around the world that are dying because of disease, bees in this province are healthy, and some gardeners here are turning to nature's busy bees to help their gardens grow. In April, I met up with Carolyn Walsh, who was new to raising bees. She only got them the summer before. Despite the challenges of the cold spring and lingering snow, the bees had overwintered well, and Karen had high hopes for her new charges.
Now that it's summer, I've noticed there are honeybees on almost everything I have in the garden at different times. So it started with the heathers, and of course the plums were out really, really early this year before anything would be flying. But I had maybe 30 damsons on this tree. This tree is over 17 years old. The most plums I ever got is 30, and this year I'm counting 30 just on this branch alone. And they look really healthy to me. And my currants are just hanging with berries. So I attribute it to the honeybees.
Well, Karen, this is a first in my career. Just remind us, why did you want to have your own beehive?
Well, I think it's just a natural extension of our years of gardening. We had gardened with vegetables and interested in fruits, so the honeybees were a natural.
Oh, look at those.
From there. Yeah, they're Newfoundland honeybees, and these were gotten from freshwater Placentia Bay, nearly as much fog as Logie Bay, and they can handle it well. So I don't know if you can see the pollen in here. They're making some comb here, so this is a preface for either setting it up for young bees, or over here it could be for making honey. Sometimes they make honey.
So you haven't got any honey yet?
Not for myself. They made a lot of honey last year, and enough to get them through the winter, and I used all my extra honey stores in the spring. So this is a fantastic frame that you can see the different coloring in it.
Yes.
So this is different pollen that they're bringing in from different plants. It's orange, it's yellow. This is fantastic. This would be called a feed frame for the bees.
Wow.
And here are some brood, some capped brood. So this would be young bees, so I have to watch this carefully. Yeah.
So they will develop into a mature
bees.
honeybee eventually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This really isn't for the faint of heart here, Karen. How much research did you have to do before you got into this hobby?
I did a lot of research, and I think it's joining an association like the Newfoundland Beekeeping Association is good. Taking a course is really good, so that when you do go in the first time, you're nervous anyway, but knowing what you can do in case something goes wrong is really important. And I try to always open my hive with someone else, so that I've got a second set of eyes. That's a good thing too.
And this smoker just keeps their alarm system,
their alarm pheromones down. That's right, yeah, because we're going into their home and they're kind of not liking it.
Yeah.
And this is a very strong hive. We've got 3 deeps on right now, 3 of these drawers.
Yes.
And I've already split this hive once this year, so it is fairly healthy.
Did you have any problems that you weren't expecting?
I was shocked by how long and hard the spring was.
Yes.
I really was. There were 8 and 10 days when the temperature didn't come above maybe 6 or 7 degrees. And the honeybees were just able to get out for a few hours and then come back to the hive, which is why I'm so amazed that we have such good pollination on things like the plums. And my neighbors were often talking about seeing the bees on their property as well. The frame will go in like this with nothing on it. They'll build it out to that, and then they'll stuff it with honey. So that's their job.
What do you get out of this experience of now being a back garden beekeeper?
I think it brings us closer to well, not just to nature, but to everything in the garden. When I walk by a plant now, I look and I listen, and I'm trying to ascertain, are the bees on the red clover? Are they on the white clover? Are they on the blackberries today? So, but I listen more carefully, I look more carefully, and I think it's a real pleasure. So let's take this frame out and we'll see if we can taste some honey. All right, so I'm kind of breaking into their food stores.
So that is
that
honey.
That is honey. That's where it resides. So you can see how much honey they pack in there.
And they feed on that?
They will feed on that all winter, or if we put on a very shallow deep, we can hopefully harvest some honey this year, which would be amazing. My hive, a single hive, only a year old, I think that's
pretty
excellent
good
if I can.
Okay. This looks fantastic.
So this is
have to try.
This is the comb and the honey.
That is delicious.
Yep.
Pesticide-free?
Pesticide-free completely. Even the bees don't have to be treated here yet. So.
Organic.
Organic.
Well,
we'll call
cheers.
it organic. Cheers.
And thank you.
Well, it was a great first day of competition for Newfoundland and Labrador athletes at the North American Indigenous Games. Up next, we'll meet the 15-year-old from Maine, who is the province's first athlete to win a medal. Welcome back to Here and Now. A 15-year-old runner from Nain is the first of the athletes from this province to land a medal at the North American Indigenous Games. Jeremy Hallwell won a bronze medal in the 3-kilometer cross-country run. He's one of 87 athletes from this province competing at the Games in Toronto. Hallwell still has several competitions left, but today he squeezed in some time to have a chat with us about his win.
It's a big honor. I come from Nain, and I didn't have very much training back in Nain. I'm mostly involved in sports events in school, and that's really the only training I really had. But besides that, it was about 4 or 5 practices I had during the summer. There was about 10 competitors, including me. The sport, yeah, you need to have a lot of stamina. You need to have a lot of breath, muscle control for running. I just kept telling myself, keep going. No, if there's no pain, there's no gain. I got a lot of notifications on Facebook from people back home and all over the province. I was against other provinces, and I'm the only one from Labrador that signed up for 16 for male. It's pretty amazing. I'm meeting people from all over North America, even from the US. I've never met anyone from the US before. No, I'm doing the sprints, the dashes, the 100-meter dash, the 200-meter dash, and the 400-meter dash. I hope I'm pretty fast against the other provinces and hopefully place once again.
And we hope you place once again as well. And good luck to all of the athletes, of course, and we'll keep you up to date with Team Newfoundland and Labrador throughout the week as the games progress.
And in addition to Jeremy Hallwell from Nain, there are a lot of other inspiring stories coming out of the North American Indigenous Games. CBC's Devin Haru recently spent the day with a track and field athlete from Saskatchewan as he prepared for the competition.
You know that the pole right there? I think of high jump. I think of that as a high jump thing.
That pole he's pointing at is actually the football upright. 17-year-old Calvin Napope has never been afraid of dreaming big, and it was high jumping in grade 6 that made him feel invincible.
I've never high jumped like that before. That was my first time ever high jumping like that before. And I was thinking, wow, that's awesome. So my confidence level was like high.
St. Louis, Saskatchewan is a small village nestled up against the banks of the South Saskatchewan River. Napope says it takes about 10 minutes for him to race from one end to the other. The foster home where he lives today is just steps away from this empty field where he trains.
I don't know what my mom's trying to do. My mom's in a different position right now. She's in jail right now.
He's had to be a father figure for his 2 younger brothers also living at the foster home, trying to lead by example, and it's sport that makes him most proud. Running now makes him feel most free, and Napope will be racing for gold this week in Toronto at the North American Indigenous Games. Surrounded by thousands of athletes and fans, a family of sorts, what he's always wanted.
I just think I gotta be happy. I gotta think of the good things, you know? You always gotta think of that. Always think of the good things. It'll make you happy.
Devin Haru, CBC News, St. Louis, Saskatchewan.
Wow. Impressive young man, a lot of weight on his shoulders, but he's pushing through it. He's certainly motivated.
Yeah, and another example, I guess, of what sports tends to do, bring out confidence and the drive to succeed. So good luck to everyone. So the kids are loving all of this sunshine and you're loving seeing them outside all day, but how do you know when they're getting too much sun? An emergency room doctor has the answer in about 3 minutes. Welcome back. Well, most people in this province probably worry about frostbite more than heat stroke, but with all the hot weather over the next few days, the latter should definitely be top of mind. This afternoon, I caught up with an emergency room doctor at the Health Sciences Centre to talk about just how serious heat stroke can be. Another beautiful day in St. John's, but I tell you, you don't have to be out for very long until you start feeling a bit overheated. How much of a danger is heat stroke right now?
It definitely can be, especially with the humidex rising right now. Especially since we're not always used to the good weather that we're having right now. People get a little bit excited, people overexert themselves, so even a few hours in the sun is enough to potentially pose a risk to someone.
And what does heat stroke do? Like, what's the effect on the body?
Yeah, so heat stroke is part of a continuum of disease for heat exposure, which is sort of on the severe end there. It typically involves your body temperature being unnaturally elevated. In addition, it can cause damage to different organ systems like the muscles and the kidneys, and in the most extreme form, it can actually cause neurologic dysfunction such as seizures or coma or an altered level of consciousness, and can be quite dangerous if left untreated. Fortunately, most people do make a full recovery after the initial incident, but it is still a very scary thing, obviously.
And you're in the emergency room. Do you see many people coming in with heat stroke?
Fortunately, this year, most people seem to be doing a good job of staying safe. But we have seen people on occasion here. I suspect as the weather continues to be nice like this, we may see a little bit more of an uptick there.
And what should someone do to stay safe?
It's the basic precautions there. So making sure that you're not staying in the sun for long periods of time, especially if you're doing something really physically strenuous, sports or activities like that. Certainly if you have breathing issues like chronic bronchitis or asthma, be extra careful. And if you're in the extremes of age, so very young children or very old adults, should be extra careful about staying out in the heat. Making sure you're drinking lots of water regularly, wearing good sunscreen and proper head covering, and staying in the shade as much as possible. I mean, it's all pretty straightforward stuff there, but sometimes in the excitement to go outside and enjoy the weather, we can forget it.
At one point, do you know that things are getting dangerous?
Sure. Certainly if a child or somebody is becoming overly fatigued or really not able to keep up with normal level of activity, that can often be an early sign of a heat exhaustion. If you start noticing a lot of muscle cramping, unusual weakness, feeling lightheaded, or even passing out in some cases, those are all signs that you should probably stop what you're doing, get into the shade, and drink as much water as you can there. Cold compresses, so cold washcloths on the face, in the armpits or the groin, and just making sure that again, you don't rush back to activity earlier than necessary.
And at what point should someone judge whether it's an emergency or not? Because you may, see a child and they may be really red in the face, and you're just not sure if you should call an ambulance or what.
Yeah, well, certainly things that you should absolutely come in for. If somebody is behaving bizarrely or has an altered level of consciousness, if they've fainted, if they're not responding or unconscious, anything like that, those are all certainly reasons to come in. Other things, it can sometimes be a bit of a judgment call. It can often depend on, again, how quickly you get them out of the sun, how quickly you can get them rehydrated and cooled off. Again, it's hard to say on a case-by-case basis, but generally, if the person gets out of the sun, they start to feel better, they don't have any of the worrisome signs that you mentioned, you're generally okay. But again, this all depends on the individual circumstances, and I'd advise anyone that if they are concerned, they still should come and see a physician as soon as possible.
Just backtracking a little bit, you mentioned all of the different organs that could be affected by heat stroke. Can you give me a little bit more detail about that? Sure. How could the brain be affected? How could your muscles be affected?
Yeah, so like I said, the problem is that unlike, say, a fever, when it's the body naturally bringing up the temperature, the body kind of has regulatory mechanisms in place that your fever won't go to a level where it's dangerous. But when you're out in the sun and you're getting exposure to heat like that, it can override your body's natural temperature regulation, and so your temperature can go above 40, 41 degrees Celsius, which is when you start to worry about potentially damaging the neurons and the rest of the brain. In terms of muscles, again, from strenuous physical activity and the heat not allowing the body to recuperate, you can get muscle breakdown, and in certain extreme cases, you can actually get widespread muscle breakdown. And then similarly, if you're very dehydrated, if you're overexerting yourself, that in turn can affect the blood flow to the kidneys. And if you don't have to be outside on a really, really hot sunny day, as tempting as it is to go for really long hikes, maybe not the best idea, especially if you don't have the proper supplies with you.
All right, Dr. Herman, thank you very
No
much.
problem. My pleasure.
Let's go get out of
All
the
right,
sun.
sounds good.
The weather update is brought to you by Belltone Hearing Service St. John's, helping the world hear better.
So, beautiful day today. Earlier in the program, we have at the top of the show, we showed myself, I was out walking around, doing a few streeters. The one part we did not show was Jeremy Eaton playing in the splash pad, which was hilarious. But I just tweeted it out, and I'm currently uploading it to my Facebook page. So you want to make sure you check that out as well. It's worth a look.
He's a big kid anyway.
Absolutely.
That part, yep.
Yeah, so lots of fun there, and lots of fun right across Atlantic Canada. When you take a look at these temperatures, again, the hot spot, not only in Atlantic Canada, but in the country today, 32 degrees in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Just shy of a record there, just shy of a record in St. John's as well. Gander topping out at 30 degrees in central parts of Newfoundland today, and there's more warm air to come. We are actually going to be bringing that humidity level up just a little bit over the next couple of days, so it's going to be feeling just a little bit stickier than it was today. So another thing to factor in as we roll through the next couple of days, where you're going to want to stay hydrated. If you have some respiratory issues, definitely going to want to take it easy. No long distance runs. Now, as we take a look at the forecast for tomorrow afternoon, again, watching some drizzle possibilities along the south coast, mainly in the morning, possibly into the afternoon, but generally it's just the fog that'll be, again, just at the coastline, and then we'll roll back in for Wednesday evening. There's the cold front that's going to be rolling into Labrador tomorrow with showers and, yes, a risk of thunderstorms as well. Cartwright into Happy Valley Goose Bay mainly for the afternoon. It's an earlier day risk for Labrador City, where I think those showers are on the doorstep pretty much from start to finish tomorrow. Thunderstorm risk more so into the afternoon. There's your forecast across the island, ranging from 18 to 20 in those onshore winds along the south coast, talking mid to high 20s for most of us, and certainly flirting with 30 degrees in central parts of Newfoundland. That front then moves on to the west coast for Thursday. Cloud cover dominating, good chance of showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder here as well. There's an afternoon risk for central parts of Newfoundland. I think the east will stay dry. Again, drizzle possibilities along the south coast, and the cloud cover likely dominating here in St. John's as well. Winds are going to be in from the south. Again, we're talking mid to high 20 temperatures, feeling low to mid 30 with the humidex. So it will be definitely a little on the sticky side. Note in Labrador, on the other side of this cold front, much cooler temperatures as winds become northwest. We're talking, low to mid-teens. Now, that front will mainly move off to the north, a lingering risk of a shower here for Friday in the east, thanks to that old front, and also a system that's going to be tracking to the south and east, and another system moving in from the south that'll be moving in mainly to Labrador for Friday, with more shower chances there and temperatures into the teens. For the island, again, it's some drizzle possibilities along the south coast, a chance of a shower in the east, mainly cloudy skies, mid-20s, pretty good number across most of the island. Again, some humidity in the air, mainly over the eastern half of the island. Now, the long-range outlook, there are those better shower chances for Friday night, lingering into early Saturday. Bit of a break for Saturday afternoon. This low kind of stalls out as a bit of a block sets up to the north, but I do think we will see some sunshine breaking through for Sunday, and then another system will approach for late Monday into Tuesday. So the forecast not looking too bad. Certainly shower chances, as I mentioned, for Saturday, clearing into the afternoon. Not quite the warm stuff we've been seeing over the last couple of days, but not half bad. And into Labrador, you can see where those showers will be pretty persistent right through the next 5 days at least.
Let's meet our young athlete of the day. Today, this is 12-year-old Katie Sellers from Grand Falls, Windsor. Katie plays defense and is captain of the Grand Falls, Windsor Cataracts female under-12 hockey team.
Katie has been playing hockey for over 8 years. Katie also takes part in a variety of other sports, including baseball, basketball, volleyball, and soccer.
Way to go, Katie. You're today's young athlete of the day.
Well, some people impacted by the raging wildfires in British Columbia returned home today. Evacuees in and around Cache Creek were allowed back into their houses, and preparations are now underway for residents to return to the community of 150 Mile House. As for Williams Lake, it will likely take some time before people are allowed to return there. That's because 3 smaller fires in the area have merged into one big blaze. Welcome back, everyone. A police shooting in Minneapolis is drawing outrage on 2 continents today. An Australian woman called 911 to report a sexual assault taking place nearby. A short time later, she was shot and killed by police. Now everyone, from the mayor to her family, is demanding answers. Stephen D'Souza reports.
The death of Justine is a loss to everyone who knew her.
On 2 continents, there are pleas for answers in the shooting death of Justine Damond. From her home in Minneapolis, where the meditation teacher was set to marry next month, and from Australia, where she grew up.
Justine was a beacon to all of us. We only ask that the light of justice shine down on the circumstances of her death.
5:30, shots fired.
Audio from police dispatch reveals little about what happened Saturday night. Damond called police about a suspected sexual assault near her home. A local report says she was outside in her pajamas, speaking to an officer in his squad car through the driver's side window, when the other officer in the passenger seat shot her. The patrol car's dash cam didn't capture the shooting, and the officer's body camera had not been turned on. That officer has been identified as Mohammed Noor, who joined the police force just over 2 years ago. Through his lawyer, Noor offered condolences to Damon's family.
I have the same questions everyone else does. Why weren't the body cameras on? What happened in the shooting?
The city's police chief agreed. I have many of the same questions, and it is why we immediately asked for an external and independent investigation into the officer-involved shooting death. In Australia, the shooting has been dubbed an American nightmare. It's also hit local residents hard in this upscale suburb.
Sadly, her family and I have been provided with almost no additional information from law enforcement regarding what happened after police arrived.
The state agency in charge of the investigation says it's still working on interviewing the officers involved. The medical examiner says Damon died from a gunshot wound to the stomach and that they're classifying it as a homicide. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, New York.
A Toronto police officer has been charged in connection with an attack on a 19-year-old man. The alleged attack happened last December in Whitby, Ontario, and left DeFont Miller with broken bones and a serious eye injury. Ontario's Special Investigations Unit has charged Constable Michael Theriault with aggravated assault, assault with a weapon, and public mischief. Theriault was off duty at the time of the alleged attack. He's been suspended with pay and is set to appear in court on August 10th.
As summer is heating up, so too is the bitter battle brewing between big beer and small craft breweries. With craft beer sales continuing to soar and commercial beer sales lagging, big beer companies have been buying up smaller players for a while now to get a piece of that growth. But small brewers say they're now also employing other tactics that are making it harder and harder to tell if the brew you're quaffing is actually local. Aaron Saltzman explains.
At this craft beer fest, the allure is not just the taste, it's also the ideal.
Thank you very much. All local ingredients.
Yeah, and you're supporting local communities and local vendors.
But are they? Alongside a multitude of microbreweries here are Mill Street, owned by Labatt, Creemore, owned by Molson Coors, and Lagunitas, owned by Dutch giant Heineken. Yet the brands of those multinational corporate owners are nowhere in sight.
It's not transparent. It's very, very difficult.
Brewer Jason Fisher says big companies now own dozens of craft breweries, but play down their corporate connection to appeal to the craft consumer.
You have to now wade through all kinds of cans before you can really tell, is it made where it says it's made? Is it really independent? Is my dollar going to a corporation in South America or a guy on a farm in Ontario?
In fact, the term craft beer has become so watered down, the U.S. Association for Small Brewers has come out with a new seal, focusing instead on the word independent.
The big breweries are pushing and saying like we're craft now. That brewers now have to redefine themselves again.
The independent brewers are also complaining about other tactics employed by their big corporate competitors. The world's largest beer company, which owns Budweiser and Labatt, recently cut off craft brewers from a small but prized hop supply, citing low yield. Anheuser-Busch InBev also reportedly offered incentives to distributors that some say would make it harder for small brewers to get their products to market. And it quietly bought a minority stake in a popular online beer rating site where there are reviews of its own products. Back at the festival, organizers say the fact some beer here is now corporate doesn't mean it's not craft.
They're still making the same beer. Still the same brewmaster. It's still the same building. They're still using spring water. It's still the same people that worked there over 10 years ago.
But for some beer drinkers, it's just not quite the same.
Actually, I still support for a small brewery.
That is, when he can tell who they are. Aaron Saltzman, CBC News, Toronto.
An Ontario judge has given the green light to Sears Canada to start liquidating inventory starting this week. The sales will be held at the 59 locations Sears plans to close. The sales will run from this Friday until October 12th. Sears Canada has been operating under court protection from creditors since last June. That's when it announced that it's closing more stores and cutting nearly 3,000 jobs.
Alberta's Child and Youth Advocate is calling for better support for children who are returned to their families after time in government care.
Their parents struggled with addictions, family violence, and neglect concerns. When they were returned to their parents, each child was extremely vulnerable because of their young age and their unique needs.
Del Graff's report reviewed the deaths of 3 young First Nations children. They have not been identified, but we know they were 1, 2, and 3 years old. They died within a 14-month period starting in 2014. Graff says the specialized help the children had been receiving in care did not continue when they returned home. He's recommending supports and monitoring to be continued for at least 1 year. In all 3 cases, the children's mothers have been charged in connection with their deaths.
Well, Dwight Ball and Canada's other premiers have NAFTA on their minds at their summer gathering in Edmonton. They're talking strategy and what they can do to protect cross-border trade.
It's a critical moment for us in Ontario, for sure, but I would say for the country as well. NAFTA is a very important agreement for all of us.
The premiers got some advice from Canada's ambassador to the U.S. David McNaughton says he doesn't see any surprises in President Donald Trump's list of objectives for the upcoming free trade negotiations. Alberta's Rachel Notley has said it's crucial the provinces work together to provide a united front. Many of the premiers have been reaching out to their counterparts along the U.S. border to reaffirm the need for strong cross-border trade. Governor General David Johnston met with the Queen at Buckingham Palace today. Among other things, they chatted about bees and honey. Johnston was referring to the hives producing honey on the roof of Canada House in London. The Queen noted that there are also bees in the garden at Buckingham Palace. This is one of the last times the Governor General will meet the Queen before he leaves his post in September. Former astronaut Julie Payette will take his place.
An Australian senator has resigned after learning she's also a citizen of Canada. Dual citizenship is not allowed for Aussie senators. Larissa Waters came to international attention as the first woman to breastfeed in Australia's parliament. She was born in Winnipeg to Australian parents and returned down under when she was just 11 months old. Waters never applied to be a Canadian citizen, so she assumed she wasn't one. She's the second Australian senator to step down because of dual citizenship. Well, they may not be the sturdiest water vehicles, but at least they float. This is the annual homemade raft race in Japan. The course is 1.3 kilometers long on the Tama River near western Tokyo.
Yes, boats can be made out of any material, but they're judged on the raft designs, as some are not quite water-worthy.
a woman in Ontario, just east of Thunder Bay, captured a video of a young black bear on her doorstep over the weekend.
Oh. Well, hello. What are you doing in our yard? Ha!
Oh my goodness. Ha! File this one under go on git. She says she felt safe opening her door with the bear on the other side after determining Mama Bear was not nearby. I don't know if I'd be doing that.
Yeah. What are you doing in our
Still
yard?
not the kind of thing you should try yourself, even if this video makes the whole encounter look just barely dangerous.
A golden retriever named Storm is being hailed a hero for being a caring canine caught on camera.
Good boy, Storm. Good boy, Storm. Storm, leave him, Storm. Storm, Storm, it's okay.
Storm went the extra mile on his morning walk, dragging an injured fawn out of New York's Long Island Sound. What followed was a lot of nudging the deer with the nose and paw, seemingly to make sure the animal is okay. The deer, which had many ticks and an eye injury, is now recovering at a nearby animal rescue.
Wow.
Wow.
Instinct is something.
Watch his foot here at the end. Just wait. He goes, gives him a pat. Let's go. Get going.
Oh, so nice that the deer's okay.
Can't beat those golden retrievers, boy. Next 3 days look like this, and very summer-like weather continues. Again, showers pushing into Labrador and then moving into Newfoundland as we roll into the Thursday and Friday time period. But overall, pretty good-looking forecast there. We will cool down somewhat for the weekend. And, oh, hold on, back up there is our picture. Got to beat the heat somehow, and these two are beating the heat thanks to Crystal Rideout for sharing.
Oh, cute.
Thanks a lot, Crystal. Have a great night, everyone. Get out and about, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Good night.